Hello out there in the world of YouTube. Happy Memorial Day to those of you who are in the US and celebrate Memorial Day. I am just realizing that the time on my going live is not the actual time that I'm going live. So hi, if you're watching the replay, and welcome if you're out there watching right now live. My name is Kiala Givehand, and this is one of 2 monthly vlogs that I'm doing. I said I was going to start trying to do 2 a month. Last month, today's date is Monday, May 27th, but last month, the month of April 2024, I spent the entire month doing a daily vlog here on YouTube. I called it the ABCs of Me. So many wonderful things came out of that. And one of the wonderful things is that I realized I really love coming here and chatting with you all and creating what I do. So that is what's happening today. Hi, Christy. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for saying something in the chat so I can know you're here. Just verify for me, Christy, that you can actually hear me. I'm going to take a few sips of water just to wet my palate because I'm feeling a little dehydrated today. Okay, that little sip did something good for me. So I'm just going to create and chat. I keep saying I'm going to go ahead and finish this journal and get it stitched together. So I think I'm going to work on that. I have a few little bits and bobs that I want to share and show you all. So I'll do that. I'm not going to stay on very long, maybe about an hour or so, give or take. We'll see how it goes. I am going to do a little bit of slow stitching to finish this up. This was a little book that I made during, hi Shannon, welcome. I made during one of our ABCs sessions last month in April. And so I'm going to do a little bit of stitching. I'll show you all my progress on it and where I am with that. And I'm just looking around on my desk right now. I call myself tidying. I feel like I'm in a constant state of tidying things up in my studio. So, you know, the life of a creative, I think. We're always tidying things up, right? And then I have a couple of announcement type things to share with you all. So yeah, I'm just going to chat a bit, create a bit, and connect with you all here because I honestly have missed you all. Those of you that were hanging out with me on the daily ABCs journey last month, yeah, it's been really, I'm glad I did it in April. I wouldn't have been able to do it in May. So all right, I'm also going to start by opening a new deck and doing a little bit, pulling some cards as I tend to do. I've got a bunch of new decks because, yeah, I've just been letting them stack up, and I'll talk more about what my my month has been like. I think I'm going to let's open that one. Let's open this one. All right, so this one is called Guides of the Hidden Realm. Hidden Realms with an S. So I'm going to open it up and do a reading for us, for myself and for the collective. Guides of the Hidden Realms Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. And it says it was illustrated by her. And I feel like this might be the first deck that she illustrated herself. I could be wrong. Don't quote it. It's not out yet. It says it's going to be released June 2024. It says 44 spirit entities beautifully rendered by Colette herself. have come from the hidden realms to offer assistance on your journey. This oracle was specifically created for you to step into your life knowing that a greater power is always there, loving you, keeping you safe, guiding you in difficult times, and celebrating you in fortunate times. I love that she has illustrated a deck herself after countless numbers of decks where she's had an illustrator working alongside her. So this should be an interesting exploration. Inside the box, it says, welcome seeker to this exploration of the hidden realms, your destiny, and yourself. It's got a little guidebook. No images, just words in the guidebook. It's got that new deck smell. If you know, you know. Let's see. Here are the backs of the cards. And let's look at a few of them before we do a card pull. Exhale, surrender, radical acceptance, serenity out of exile. I love that they're numbered. Zenith at the peak. The river dances to the sea. I love these little faces. They're good. They're quirky. They got these big, beautiful eyes in them. Very nice. They remind me a little bit of some of the faces and imagery on the, oh, what is that called? Deborah. I can't remember her last name in this moment. Deborah. I'm looking around to see if it's one out on my desk. Anyway, she does touch drawing. And I think the name of her deck, Soul Cards, maybe. Oh gosh, I'm horrible right now. Anyway, this is reminding me a little bit of that. So I'm loving these. Very nice. Different energy. Really beautiful though. All right, let's start shuffling a little bit. And I'm going to pull a card. There's only 44, so it's a nice... That's so random that some of those were turned. Okay. Let me try that again. I feel like I'm going to... Cardstock is thinner than I am used to with some of her decks, but I like it because I can shuffle. I need to be able to shuffle a deck. If I can't shuffle it, then it makes it a little difficult for me to work with it. So I love being able to shuffle the deck. So I like shuffleable cards. Very nice. Okay, so I'm going to pull one for myself and one for the collective, and we'll see what we get here. And just what do we need to bring our awareness to for the coming week? So the first one is, what do I personally need to bring my awareness to for the coming week? Serenity out of exile, the first card. Exhale, surrender, radical acceptance. Whew. I just had a conversation with the nephew's son who just got back on the road. And OMG, we had a conversation, not about he and I, but about other family things. And I was like, yeah, you know. So this might be a little note to me about the coming week. Needs to be all about exhale, surrender, and radical acceptance. Exhale, surrender, and radical acceptance. All right. So what does the collective need to bring the awareness to for the coming week? What does our collective, those of us here live and those of you watching this replay. What do you need to bring your awareness to for the coming week? These cards are kind of slick. They're a little slippery. All right, so all right, in the midst of the radiant fire, inspiration, passion, obsession, cleansing fire. I love it. I love the duality of this face, of this image. You know, it's got these two colors, and that's card 31. So why don't we just see what does Colette say about these cards? Ooh, it's a lot. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Each one seems like it probably has a double page spread. So I'm just going to read a little bit for this card. In fact, I'm just going to read the one for the collective. I'll go back to the one that's for me on my own time. I mean, this is also my own time, but when you all don't have to sit and listen. So for the collective, what we need to bring our awareness to for the week, for the coming week, in the midst of the radiant fire, key concepts, inspiration, passion, optimism, pure joy, brilliant ideas, creativity, all-consuming obsession, addiction, burnout, cleansing fire. Inspiration is one of the most profound gifts from your higher power you will ever receive. It's like being handed a magic acorn containing the blueprint for an extraordinary oak tree of meaning, adventure, transformation, and fulfillment. Your only job is to accept it, plant it, and tend to it in your field of dreams. Trust in the divine fire that burns in your heart and pay attention to the prompts from source. That still small voice will tell you the next step on the path of your best life. Once you commit, things come together to make it happen, regardless of any specific action on your part. This brilliant idea, this creative impulse, this joyful moment is a gift. So many people ignore it, thinking it will be too much work or that someone else is better suited for the task, but not you. Let this inspiration light your inner fire and keep tending to the flame. Feel the passion and optimism. Know that you were chosen for this unique path. I like that. That's very, very nice. Very nice. So those will be our two cards. I'll leave them out. And I'll try to remember to show them one more time at the end if I can. Okay, so moving on. How are y'all doing? Those of you that are here live, drop a little word or two in the chat for me. Tell me how you're doing. How's your week been? How's your month been? What kind of creative endeavors are you wrapped up in right now? What's got you excited? What's inspiring you? All those things. Let me tell you all what my life has been. All right, so I'm going to do a little bit of slow stitching here on this. Remember this little needle book? I think maybe I did this on letter day in. I don't actually know, but I actually started stitching the pages together to make them a little more, I want to say sturdy, but I don't know that it really makes them sturdier. Maybe it does. And so that's where I am right now. I'm working on stitching pages together, so I will just continue. But I did do this on one of the days because I had this cork fabric that I thought was neat, and I was like, oh, I need something to do with this. Hi Pearl Ann, welcome. And so I made a little needle book out of it, but then I started putting needles in, and I didn't really like the sort of single one, we'll call it sheets, one sheet layer. So I thought, well, what if I put two of them together? What will that be like? So that's what I'm doing. So I'll be stitching this a little bit while I give you all a little update on what's been happening in my world. In fact, I'm noticing that I failed to, or forgot to, I don't know if failed is really the word to use here. I'm going to put a little bit of, I've been kind of putting a little glue stick on each one just to give them a little something. That glue stick may or may not last long, but it's more like a little basting. And I'm stitching this one. This is the middle, so I'm going to stitch it all the way across. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little glue stick on both sides of that. Okay. So this is the month of May, and my mother turned 80 years old this month. And we had a big birthday party for her on Saturday, 2 days ago. And oh my gosh, so my month has pretty much been consumed with party prep. And the funny thing is, I'm a lot of things, y'all. The last thing I am is a party planner. I am not a party planner. I just, yeah, there's nothing about it that excites me or brings me joy or makes me like it just is not my thing, not my jam. But it was my mama, and I would do anything for that lady. So I stepped way, way out of my comfort zone and planned her an 80th birthday party. And she was very happy. She had an amazing time. She was very grateful. She had so many wonderful folks from all time periods of her life, from people who were around her when she was a little girl and a teenager, to people who she babysat, who are now in college, right? Like, she had people there from, I think some of you know about her having a hip replacement surgery last year, November, and having a major hiccup with that and having to be in rehab for a while. And the folks from the rehab facility, a few of them came. And so she just had people from all, she had classmates. She's so funny. She said of her entire graduating class, there's only about six or seven of them that are still alive. And they still all keep in touch, which I think is pretty darn cool. And so there were some of them there. And then, of course, family. She has sisters here, two of the sisters that live here in Pensacola with us. They were there. And two of her, so she has three sisters here. Two of the three were there. She has three sisters in Ohio. Two of the three were there. They drove all the way from Ohio to come to the birthday. And so it was just a really beautiful occasion. I mean, people stood up and said really beautiful and amazing things about her and her life and who she was and is in their life. She had people there who had worked for her. My mother was a buyer at Gaifer's department store for about 26 years. But even before those 26, she worked at Gaifer's in other departments. But for the bulk of her time there, she was a buyer and a manager of people. And so two of the women that she had managed when they were young ladies on their first jobs, and they just all said so many wonderful, wonderful things about her. It was really beautiful. My heart was full. Her heart was full. It was a great day. She had a blast. And she is officially an octogenarian. And all the grandkids were there. Well, not all the grandkids. A few of her grandchildren were able to be there. And her great-grands were there. Most of her great-grands were there. Not all of them, but most of them were there. And it was just, yeah, I think it was really beautiful. It was a beautiful celebration. And yeah, I was tired. If I'm being honest, I'm still a little tired. I'm still a little bit tired. because it was, yeah, it was a lot. It's a lot of work to throw parties. So I have a newfound respect for party planners, for family members who plan big parties and gatherings. I have a newfound respect for that. And it is not anything that I want to master or get good at. I'm going to leave that to people who find joy and it's maybe their passion and purpose in life, because it is absolutely 1000% not my passion. I'm not curious about getting good at it. So yeah, you know, I can check that off my list. Been there, done that. Planned a big 80th party. Yeah, so that was that. But yeah, it was really great. It was fun. What I didn't say is that it was a 60s theme. It was a 60s theme. Also, I think y'all have heard, some of y'all, most of y'all have heard me talk about my creative gal pal, Tiffany Smith. I know some of y'all follow her, Southern Gals Designs. And Tiffany and her husband, Josh, came to the party. And that was pretty special because my mom and Tiffany's birthdays are very close to each other. And my mama likes to call her, well, first of all, she likes to say, my Tiffany. But she also calls her like her little birthday twin, her Gemini twin. And let me tell you something. They are so much alike, my mama and my friend. In fact, I always say that being Tiffany has actually helped me understand and in some ways appreciate my mom as me as an adult appreciating my mother. I mean, obviously I appreciate my mother because she's my mother, but how to be a good friend, right? Because she's my mama, but she's kind of like my friend, you know, in a lot of ways. And so being friends with another Gemini has helped me really understand my mama a lot better than I think I was understanding her previously. I almost feel like I should have done a fold over that and stitched it. That's for another day. We're going to keep going here. Did I already stitch? I already stitched that way. Let's go this way. So it was a 60s themed party. And holy smokes, it was really great. People actually dressed up. I was wondering, I was like, are people going to dress up? But they did. I don't have a lot of pictures. Let's see if I can even show one picture. I think I have a picture of, here's a picture of me and Damon. Tiffany took that for us. So we did the whole 60s thing. It was fun. We had a lot of fun. I don't have a lot of, in fact, all the pictures are like on the big fancy camera. So maybe I'll share some on my Instagram feed at some point, but it was fun. We had a lot of fun. Most importantly, my mother had a lot of fun. She was exhausted and worn out the next day, as most of us were. And I had a lot of help. Don't let me make it seem like I did it all by myself. I did not. I think you all have heard me use the term sister cousins. My sister cousins, they are cousins to me by birth, but they are like sisters to me. Not like sisters. They are my sisters. They are. And so my sister cousins helped me tremendously. One of my aunties, my mama's sister, her baby sister, made some cupcakes and cake pops for us. We had a ridiculous amount of food. Way more food than we needed, probably, because we were begging people to take food home at the end. It was really great. We had 60s music, and it was so funny. Everybody was like, is it an 80s theme or a 60s theme? She's turning 80. I was like, right. But she said that the 60s were her favorite decade, and so that's what we did. We did what she wanted to celebrate. The theme that she wanted, and she wanted the 60s, so we did that, and it was awesome. And oh my gosh, why am I having such a hard time threading this needle and getting a little knot on the end? Oh wait, I'm gonna go old school with my knot here. So all of that to say, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I was one exhausted puppy at the end of it, though. And for her and only her, maybe also for Damon, maybe, but it would have to be like extenuating circumstances. But definitely for her, my mama, I would do it all over again, even though I was exhausted and still trying to get my bearings and back into the real world. So yeah, so that was pretty much my month of May. We also celebrated her on her actual birthday. So that was fun. Just a few of us went out to the beach. She loves the beach. So we went out to the beach, had a meal out there on the beach. And yeah, it was good. It was a good month. I didn't do a lot of making this month as much as I would. I mean, I never really do all the making that I want to do, if I'm being honest, y'all. Do you? Does anybody ever really do all the making that they have in their heart and mind to do every month? If you do, please tell the rest of us your secret. Yes, Pearl Ann, it absolutely was. It was fabulous. It was really great. Even the kiddos got into it. And then I didn't say this, I had a slideshow of like pictures of her from different time periods in her life, which was kind of a surprise to her. She didn't know I was doing that. And so she really enjoyed kind of seeing those images go across the screen at the party. So yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So what else can I tell you about the month of May? Oh, I was saying I didn't get to do as much creating this month as I had hoped and planned. However, I guess I should say that's not true. Listen, I am creative on a daily basis, right? However, I didn't get to do much making. That's a better way to describe it. I didn't get to do much making. I'm creative every day, so I'm always creating and in the spirit of creativity. Always. But I didn't get to do a lot of making. The other thing I'll say is Sacred Makers is coming up literally, not this week, but the next week. And I am like, so excited to meet all the folks. We have a lot of returners, but we also have several new people coming to Sacred Makers, which I'm really excited about. And you can go ahead and say you heard it here first. I will be opening up registration because registration for Sacred Makers 2024 actually closes officially today. I mean, it really was supposed to be yesterday, but I left it open for today for our stragglers, last minute people who are like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. But I'm going to be opening up 2025 registration very soon because many of you, well, for several reasons. One is because many of you told me that if you had more time to register, sign up, and plan, and more time to pay, that you would have been there this June. And so I thought, well, give the people what they want, Kyla. They want more time. So I'm going to give you more time. You're going to have an entire almost 12 months, a little less, a little shy of 12 months to do it. That means that you can space out your payments over time and make it a little less taxing maybe on your immediate finances, but also still make it doable. And let me say that, so that's one reason. And the reason that is important to me is because I cannot tell you all over the years how many retreats and creative workshops and in-person things that I have wanted to attend, but financially could not because they didn't offer a payment plan or they didn't offer any sort of, it just financially wasn't feasible for a variety of reasons. And that has always baffled me. Like, why wouldn't a retreat planner, organizer give people the option to pay in installments? Because not everybody can just throw down thousands of dollars at once. And while my life is in a very different place than it was in those moments, I still remember what it felt like to have to say no to something, or basically to not be able to do something because financially I could not make it work. So I've been there. I know what that feels like. And it can actually, well, I won't say what it feels like for everyone, but it actually would often create this like feeling of a little bit of shame for me, like money shame. And like, yeah, just, so yeah, so I don't want people to feel that when they think Sacred Makers. I want you to know that we are here trying to make creativity and retreats accessible to everyone who wants to be able to attend. And we also know that not everybody's situation is the same. I mean, some people are retired and on a fixed income. It doesn't mean you should have to forego. I mean, my mama is retired and on Social Security and a fixed income. And I feel like people shouldn't be punished because they're on a fixed income. I feel like they shouldn't be limited or feel limited to what they can and cannot do because they're on a fixed income. People who are on retirement have worked years, decades. That's why they're retired. And they shouldn't have to be penalized for that, right? So yeah, so that's one that's really important to me too, is I do think about like people like my mom, and some people are on, other, like on disability, they've got, chronic pain, and so they've been put on disability because maybe they can't work because of the chronic pain. And then if I'm keeping it real, running a business can really drain your financial situation, right? And I say that as somebody who has been an entrepreneur and running her own business for, dare I say how many years? A couple of decades here we're in at this point, right? And I've had all the ups and downs, and who's to say that I won't again? Who's to say that while things might be going really well in my world now, financially, it doesn't mean that that's going to always be the case, and it definitely has not always been the case, right? I've gone through really tough times financially, really lean times. I've had abundance, and I've had scarcity, and I've had lack, and all the things, right? And so I'm aware of that. I'm a real person over here living a real life, and I understand. And so for me, Sacred Makers, I want it to be accessible to people who need it and want it. So I'm going to open registration early. I say early. I'm going to open it sooner than I have in the past because I want people to be able to, to attend, to join us, no matter what their situation. And from time to time, we always have, or we have in the past, Damon and I always give 2 scholarship seats. And then we have a few of our tried and true folks who will often give a donated seat as well. So if you are in a position where you're just like, financially, I can't, the installments don't even help me, always reach out to us because you never know. You never know what's possible. You never know. All right, so I'm looking forward to Sacred Makers. That's coming up very soon here. I'm going to be in New Hampshire, and the lake is lovely, magical, and rejuvenating. People are always like, aren't you exhausted when you leave? It's so funny because the lake actually rejuvenates me. It reminds me what it means to be one with nature, how nature is really like our BFF. It's here for us. It's here to support us. It can help bring us back to ourselves. And so I'm looking forward to some of that. And just hanging out with, you know, other creatives where you don't have to explain why you like the things you like, why you do the things you do, why you make the things you make. That to me is pretty awesome. All right, so they're all stitched up now. Yay, all the pages are stitched. That makes me happy. All right, this is going to bug me to no end. So I think I am going to do a little stitchy stitch here, make it a double. What else do I want to share with y'all? Let's see. Oh, holy smokes. I'm a crazy person right now. I have to share. Okay, when I'm done with this, I'm going to share my other big news this month, which I hope you all have been able to see. But let me, oh, I need to knot that. All right, what else? I'm going to come back to that. I also got to spend some gal pal time with Tiffany on her birthday. And we went thrifting, and I got some cool little things. I'll show y'all some of the stuff I got before I leave here today, if I can make that happen. And our husbands got to hang out, which they always love doing. It's really fun because we don't have to babysit them. Tiffany and I can just be like, okay, we're going to go into this place for probably an hour. See y'all. And then they do whatever they do for an hour. Hanging out, talking, chatting, all the things. And so that was fun. We did that. We had a meal together. We did a couple thrift shops, had a meal together. Ran a little errand together, and I found some really cool stuff that helped with my mom's party, because that was before the party that we hung out, and so that was like perfect. What else did we do? Yeah, I have to show you all some of the cool things that Tiffany brought me back from France. She taught in France earlier this year, and we hadn't seen each other since she returned. And so she brought me a few goodies, which was really sweet of her. Very cool. In fact, she brought me back some French sea salts. And oh my gosh, I've already used them. And I'm using some right now. I have a pot of soup on the stove. And why can I not make a knot? What is wrong with me right now? Okay, there you go. Having a hard time making knots. All right, I think I like that better. Yeah, I like that better. Nope, I'm not going to bother doing that one. Let's see. Do I need to do that on any other one? No, that one was really wackadoodle. This one, honestly, I think I'm just going to snip that right off because it's kind of uneven. So that works. Look at that. Needlebook is complete. Well, kind of. I keep saying that I'm going to stitch this little thing to it. I think I will. All right, let's see. I'm just going to hodgepodge it. Hodgepodge and eyeball it. That's what's about to happen here. Hang around if you want to see the hodgepodge eyeballing. And put a little glue on there just to hold it in place for me. That's roughly the middle. And even though I'm doing that, I'm actually going to stitch through that. I think I better get another piece of string. Where did my thread go? There it is. Okay, so let's see what else. May. What else did I do? Oh, I also did and completed another solo training for SoulCollage facilitators. I trained 15 new SoulCollage facilitators. And I'm excited that they're going to be coming into the world, bringing more SoulCollage in their areas, all over the US and the UK. We had someone in the UK who was in the UK. Also someone who was in Lithuania. We have a few folks in Hawaii, a couple of people from Hawaii who got trained. So it brings me such joy to, oh wow, that glue did absolutely nothing to hold that in place. Let's put a little clip on that because the glue did nothing. Okay. Well, this is going to be super fun. Okay, what was I saying? SoulCollage, yes. So I trained 15 new SoulCollage facilitators, and that was lots of fun. I have a SoulCollage introduction workshop coming up at the end of this week. If you are interested in SoulCollage, please come and join me for that. There's already a link in the description of this live stream, so you can see that and join me for that. The SoulCollage training is always a really fun thing to do because I know at the end of it, people are getting something that helps to deepen their own personal practice with SoulCollage, but it also is something that allows them to have an additional income stream for those who want that. I mean, the method has been around since mid to late 80s, right? So lots of people know about this. And some people are still like, trying to figure it out. Like, oh, there's SoulCollage. What is that? What does that mean? What do you do? How does that work? This thread is about to drive me bananas. Why won't it stop knotting up? Help! Send help. Okay. I think I'm going to do a little over stitching here. Get a little rhythm going. So yeah, bringing new SoulCollage facilitators into the world feels like such an honor and a privilege. So I'm really happy that I get to do that work in the world. This month has been kind of packed with things, honestly. I'm just trying to think of what all they have been. I was looking back at my 100-day project. So I've been doing this whole 100 days of completing projects. And I was trying to do something a little, I set out to do something very unconventional in that I wanted to finish projects, but not like one a day, right? Because some of the projects that I have that need to be finished, I have had sitting on my desk or in a drawer or in my closet or in a box somewhere or just on my desk. Some of them for decades, if I'm being honest. And that's not an exaggeration. That is not an exaggeration. But what I gave myself permission to do with this 100 days of completing projects is to go at my own pace, obviously, to not worry about everything needing to be on Instagram as proof. That just doesn't jive for me, y'all. I don't need people to show me proof that they are, like, you don't need to show me proof that you're doing the thing you said you were doing. The only person you need to prove it to is you. Honestly, like that. But social media has people thinking that, you know, if it's not on social media, it didn't exist, didn't actually happen. I heard a teenager say that recently. One of my friends has a teenage daughter, and she was like, yeah, I mean, if it's not on social media, like if people can't see it, like on TikTok or Instagram, or what is this other one they have? Some new one that I don't even know what it is. Can't even remember the name of it. She was like, then basically it didn't happen. And I was like, is that the world you live in? I'm so sad for you that that's the world you live in. That is not the world I live in. And I don't want to live in a world where if it's not on social media, it didn't actually happen. Like, ooh, that's frightening. On many, many levels, that is frightening. So yeah, I haven't been showing my 100 days of completing projects, but I have been actually completing projects over here. This is one of them that you're looking at right here. As I finish it up today, I'm going to call it done. And so my thought is that also today, I think, is like, isn't today day 100 of the 100-day project if you're following the masses? If you're following the masses, I think today was day 100, or yesterday. Might have been yesterday. Do not quote me. Do not take that information to the bank. Because I could very well, and probably am, wrong. I don't know when the 100 days was supposed to be ending, because it was never my intention to do it on the same day, like to have my days match the days of everybody else. That was never my intention. So, so I don't know if today is day 100 or not, but for me, it was really about just trying to complete projects, y'all. Sorry, I'm trying to rethread this needle and it is giving me a fit, mostly because I don't have on glasses. So let's get the glasses on and be realistic about what my eyes can do in this moment. Okay, let's do this thing that I just saw too. I just saw somebody do this on, find a piece of paper. Hang on. I just saw someone do this. They took thread and they put it in like that. This isn't going to work because this hole is too little. But they took a piece of thread, they put it into some paper, and then they stuck the paper through and then pulled the thread through that. Yeah, this isn't going to work for this because that thread, that paper is too thick. It's too thick. Has anybody ever done that? Those of you that are here right now, have you done that technique where you take a piece of paper, put the thread in the crease of the paper, and then put the paper, the point, the like diagonal pointy corner in of the paper into the eye of the needle and pull the thread out of the paper? I've never done it, but I just saw it done on Instagram the other day. Somebody Like literally yesterday I saw it. Somebody was showing, oh my gosh, this thread does not. And I do have a needle threader somewhere. Do not ask me where. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me try to find a needle threader because apparently I need one. Apparently. Apparently I need a needle threader, people. It is at that point. And of course I'm going to pick up the one container that doesn't have a needle threader in it. Oh, the joy of being a bag lady. Too many bags. So many bags. All right, let's see if I have a needle threader in this bag. Hi, Tracy. Tracy says, yes, it's a great way to add beads to yarn. Huh. Learn something new every day. Every day. I have never seen that done until I had never seen that done. I have now seen it done. All right, let's try this needle threader. Will this needle threader work? I don't think this one is going to work. I think this needle is just too little. Too little. I think that's the issue. Is I got a tiny little, teeny little eye. And seriously, y'all, I have not had issue threading this needle up to this point until today. First time I've had issue with threading this needle. This is what happens when you're live. All the things. Ooh, ooh, success. Didn't need the needle threader after all. Just the glasses. Just the glasses. So even in my jewelry making days, Tracy, no one ever taught me how you can use paper to add beads to, none of that. So anyway, I think that's pretty cool. It's a good thing if it, you know, if you got the right needle, I suppose. Okay, friends, what else? I'm taking the time here. All right, I've got about 30 more minutes with you. So I am doing an intro to SoulCollage this weekend coming up. If you are a member of my Soul Seeds community, it's complimentary for you, darlings. Just show up. All the details are in the membership. If you are not a part of my Soul Seeds membership, the link is in the description of this session here, this live stream. And we go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Not long on Sunday, though. Just a little bit of time on Sunday. Sunday is more like a last few little details to share with you and a Q&A type session. But my intros are always what I call qualifying intros, which means it's an introduction that will qualify you to then go on to take the facilitator training if that is something you want to do. I cover all the things that you need in order to be able to take the training to become a facilitator. So I'm looking forward to a new group of folks. We got some new people signing up for that workshop, and I'm always excited to meet new folks who love SoulCollage as much as I do. The other thing I have, because I get asked this question more times than I care to name how many times I get this question. I have made a little SoulCollage, we'll call it a little taster teaser, something or other. stay tuned to this space. I will, and if you're on my email list, you'll get a heads up about it. It's gonna start tomorrow, and that will be complimentary for people who are on my email list. And it's not a full class. It will not qualify you to do the facilitator training. In fact, it doesn't even give you a lot of information or details about the method of SoulCollage, but it will walk you through some SoulCollage bits and pieces that I think are important and fun for people to know, especially if you think you want to become a facilitator at some point. I've also been thinking a lot about, and I know for many of you this won't matter either way, but I've been thinking a lot about doing a SoulCollage, in-person SoulCollage class here in my local area. I'm going to be thinking about that a little bit, but not until after Sacred Makers, obviously, because my brain can't hold another new thing to be thinking about and working on. I mean, it probably could, but then it means I'm taking some brain power away from something else. So, all right, so we got this little piece stitched on here. Now, I'm going to want it to come across to about here. And I feel like it needs some sort of thing to go into, right? Something that's going to hold it in place. So kind of like a little strap type thing here. What y'all think about that? Is that even going to work? That's my real question. Is that actually going to hold that down to that? Well, all we can do is try it. Let's just try it. I'm going to see if this will work. This quote unquote fabric isn't actually very, like, it doesn't actually take glue very well. So we're going to see if that sticks to that. It may or may not. I'm probably going to stitch it down. Yeah, Tracy, that's going to be my other option, a slit in the cover situation. We'll see how this goes. And then I think, oh, let's just eyeball that. It's about a pinky's width. That looks about right. Y'all love that precise measuring, the precision. The precision. Said no one ever about me. No one ever said. Kiala is the most precise measurer ever. No one ever said that, because that would not be true. I do not measure things precisely. What did the kids say today? That would be off-brand. That would be off-brand for me. Let's make a little let's give this a little bit of a point. And voila. Oh, no, it didn't hold. Oh, no, it's coming up. Okay, let's stitch it down because it's coming up. I kind of want to just put a staple in it if I'm being really honest. Okay, I'm not going to overthink this. In fact, I'm going to do, I'm going to do this. Bump, 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 bump. Bump, 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 bump. We're going to make little X's there. Let's do that. Oh, shoot. Ooh-wee. Okay, so last but not least, before I run out of time, because I am going to end this live stream at a reasonable point, which will be a little under 20 minutes now. Y'all, I have a stencil. I have 2 stencils out in the world. Did you see it? Did you see it? Did you see it? I'll show them in a moment here. And I'm really freaking excited. I have wanted to have a stencil. I have wanted to have stencils in the world for some time now. Okay. And now I do. It's one of those moments where, do I know how to make a knot? Like, I am really struggling with knots today, y'all, in every possible scenario and way. You would think that I've never, ever, ever in my entire life, in my entire 51 years, made a darn knot. This is hilarious to me. It's like, the girl does not know how to make a knot. Total insanity, and also not a knot. My goodness, get it together. Through the loop. Okay, so I have wanted for years. I used to be a stencil girl designer. That is not true. I used to be a stencil girl design team member. And ever since then, this was back in 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, somewhere around there. I was on the stencil girl design team. And then they had a special little crew that they started that was like stencil girl design team. I'm going to make up a name. This was not the name, but it was something like Design Team Plus. Where a few of us did extra blog posts a month kind of thing, right? A quarter, something like that. And I was just like, and still am, just enamored with stencil girl. I love Mary Beth Shaw. She's a great person in general, aside from being a great artist. Also have taken classes from her, took an in-person workshop from her at a stencil girl retreat. And just really love the stencil girl community in general. And so even back then, when I was on the design team, just really wanted to be a designer. But I didn't know anything about designing a darn stencil. I didn't know anything about I didn't know anything about any of it. Oh, well, that was some magic trick I just did right there with that knot. So I didn't even inquire. I didn't even, it had it in my heart. It's like, oh, I would love this one day. This would be so awesome. And then lo and behold, guess what? I now have 2 stencils in the world. I hope to have more than 2. But you got to start where you start. Start where you start. Okay, that is done. I feel kind of good about that. It's a little matchy for me. It feels like this needs a little something on it to let you know it's different. Why don't I do... So I'm going to be weird and outline this. So I've got 2 stencils out and I'm darn excited about them. I hope to have more at some point coming out as well. We'll see. I'm also, because I'm so excited, I am giving people time to buy them and get them in their homes. And then on June, I think I scheduled it for June 20th. I'm going to do a Zoom call with people who've bought the stencil. And show you some special things and maybe give you a sneak peek of some other things that I have up my sleeve. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's already scheduled. I think it's June 20th. If you're on my email list, you should see. Okay, that feels a little bit better because I got a little gold on there. Make a little dot dash situation happening here. Probably more than I need. More embellishment than it needs, but you know, more is less. More is less. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. And then I'm going to put these needles back in it. And a few pins. Okay, but while that is drying, let's look at stencils. Da, 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 da. Stencils. I'm so freaking excited about them. And of course, y'all didn't just meet me. You know they have a story. Every stencil has a story. So the first one. This is the first one. I'm so excited about this. I like a little kid. And funny story, when they sent me the demos, the ones to sort of, you know, demo and make sure they work, that to make sure that they, you know, that I like the design as a stencil versus as an image that I sent them. This one, well, for the funny story is that they they went to my old address in Georgia when I was a design team member. And so I had to get the nephew's son who lives in Georgia to send them to me. And I was like, oh my God, I can't stand waiting. I want them so bad. But I was patient. I waited and I got them. And then as soon as I got them, I was like, okay, all things stop. And I play with stencils. And so this one, the story behind this one is called Brush It Off. And you can see my little, look at that. Givehand, brush it off. Ah, I feel so excited about this. But this is literally, in fact, let me see if I can find, where is the darn brush? Oh, I think it's this one. This is actually the, like when I have, like if you're painting something and then you have your under paper and you're like cleaning off your brush. That's literally what this is from. Me cleaning off this brush full of paint and just making marks, cleaning off the brush. And then after the fact, I had been using black gesso. So it was all black. And I was like, man, that'd be a cool stencil. You know, I was looking at the paper going, man, that'd be a cool stencil. And so then when I was able to submit designs to Stencil Girl, this was the first one I thought of. So I was like, okay, let's see. Maybe they'll like it. So that is Brush It Off. That's literally what that represents. And here's some of the little, here's some of my first prints of it. Thank you, Perlin. Thank you, Perlin. Here's one with a little bit of shimmer paint. This is kind of like the reverse of it, right? The negative of it, which I love equally. So yeah, I had fun. These were all done on the deli plate. And then I did, a few, well, if I could find things and keep things straight in my life. I have a few that I did, a couple that I did on some fabric. I did a whole video also. There's video attached to it. You can see that. I sent that in the email as well for folks. I'll link below for it. And then the second one is called, why is that doing that? Oh, that is bizarre. Anyway, the second one is called Aura. And again, you can see there, Givehand, Aura. And this one actually represents what it feels like for me as somebody who is not just empathic, but energetically open and receiving of other people's energy, right? I feel other people's energy when I'm in their presence, for better or for worse sometimes. Obviously, I know tools and techniques of how to keep myself grounded in my own energy and bring myself back to my energy. But this is kind of what it feels like when I imagine my energy is commingling with somebody else's energy, right? It's like this flow of connection. And so anyway, I drew this as sort of a doodle on I was trying to learn Procreate, and I was playing with different brushes and trying different things, and this design came out of that. And I was like, man, this is exactly what it feels like if I were to try to describe to somebody what my energy feels like connected to their energy. This is what it would look like. So that is Aura. And I love it. I love the stencil so much. So very much. So that is Aura. Now I cannot, for the life of me, because clearly I didn't plan, for whatever reasons, like, oh right, I have stencils to show people. I was trying to figure out what I did. Oh, I think I did y'all remember we made this book, or I made this book during the ABCs month, and in here I did a page using the Aura stencil. Also, when I first got the stencils, I'm looking to see where it is. I put some pages in here that had, I still have a lot of pages in here to do something with in this journal. I need to get on that, huh? Yeah, I just like making the journals, y'all. I don't always like working on them. I love making them. So there's a little piece of brush it off. Uh-oh, hey little buggy. There's a little piece of brush it off on here. Sort of on that little bit there. And I could have sworn that this was the journal I did that I used for the, oh, no. Now that I'm sitting here saying that, I know it wasn't this one. It was, Can somebody say, she has too many journals? It was in this one. This is a journal we made. I taught this journal during Soulfully Raw and Quirky. There it is. Goodness gracious, that was hard to find. And I even put a little thing on here to flag it for myself, and still didn't find it right out of the gate. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, there's the image, that aura going all around there. So I'm so excited for these stencils and for hopefully future stencils to come. I am thrilled to no end. All right, so I hope that you all will scoot over to Stencil Girl and okay, see, I like that much better. Right now you can actually see that there's a separation between the flap that's down there and the little piece that goes through. Love it. I hope you all will grab a stencil or two and come to the special Zoom call that I'm going to do for folks who own one or both of my stencils. I look forward to that. Look forward to hanging out with you all. I'm just going to do some little dashes here with the gold, because now that I have gold on that little piece, it feels like I need to have gold in other places. How many of you actually use stencils in your art and creative practice? I'd love to hear about that. You can leave me a little message if you're watching the replay. You can put something in the comment section for me. What do you do with your stencils? What's some of your favorite techniques and things to do? I'm going to be sharing and showing some of those on our call, some of my favorites on our special call. All right, I'm going to leave that because I'm going to just keep fiddling and bajiddling with it. It's never going to get dry, and I'm never going to be able to actually put needles in it. All right, friends, I was going to work on a watercolor journal, but I'm looking at the time. I've got 6 minutes left based on when I said I was going to stop for the day. So I'm going to go ahead and say thank you all for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. Remember that the card for this coming week for the collective, in the midst of the radiant fire, inspiration, passion, obsession, cleansing fire. I hope you find some inspiration this week. I hope you tap into that which you're passionate about. I hope you let yourself be a state of pure obsession about something that brings you joy. And I hope that all of the fire that shows up in the form of creativity for you this week is cleansing. I do hope that for all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit today. I look forward to seeing y'all in all the other places and spaces that we share. And that part. Thanks. Thanks, everybody. Love y'all. Have a beautiful rest of your Monday. Don't forget, it's actually Monday. It feels like Sunday to me, but it's actually Monday. Back to work tomorrow for some of us, maybe all of us. Y'all have a beautiful time for the rest of your week. Mwah. Bye.